Hi, everyone. Wow. Today is Tuesday. Facebook Live, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs in your performance in life. And this week, I want to talk with you about your consciousness. So we've been going through my Paragon model, the forward performance pyramid or winning mental pyramid. It showed the relationship between your intrinsic mood and your intrinsic motivation, inspiration, attitude, mindset, and then your mood and subconscious. Well, when all of those are aligned, you have consciousness. And that's very important. So when you have consciousness, what does that really mean? Well, all of those performance factors, motivation, inspiration, attitude, mindset, mood, and subconscious, you can control to a certain degree, right? And it's important that you have the tools and you learn the tools to do that, because as you go further and further in your career, in your life, and whatever it is that you're wanting to experience, more and more of it becomes more and more on the mental side. Your communication interaction with one another, your ability to really listen, really understand, your ability to really value not only what you think, but what the other person thinks, and how together you can create something greater. All of these things are situations or things that we don't experience as often when we're in school, because we're just interested in getting the answer for the exam question or to write the paper. There's not as much collaborative type work, team type work. And even in the regular workplace, still a lot of companies function in silos. So you're responsible for this part, somebody else is responsible for this part, then at the end, everybody comes together and it goes out the door. However, we're seeing that more and more the solutions today are more and more complex. And the reason that they're complex is that the old way of doing it is no longer beneficial. You don't get the outcomes. And the reason you don't get the outcomes is because not everybody's able to provide their input and their value. And what you see, and the companies that can create and the environment and create the culture that can really take advantage of their people's value of thinking, and how the synergy of different people thinking put together creates something greater. And that's real team, that's real teamwork, that's real collaboration. And what you're finding is that we're noticing in all fields, whether it's health, whether it's engineering, whether it doesn't matter, entertainment, sports, that each person is unique and different. And the robustness is in being able to put the interventions, or having the thinking tools, the learning tools, the knowledge tools to be able to communicate and interact to create something together that's greater. So achieve something greater together. And so this is a challenge for a lot of people, because you have different types of people in the groups, and then not everyone even knows how to start a group and or be on a team, and to know to explain to everyone how the decision will be made in advance. It's sort of like someone's just designated the decision maker versus being told, and how that can be changed, and different ways of doing that. So all of these are very important. But what my model is really doing is it's saying that when your motivation, inspiration is aligned with and controls your attitude, and then that controls your mindset, and your mindset controls your mood and subconscious, when all of that is aligned, you have consciousness. And it's very important that you have consciousness. And so consciousness occurs when you're not distracted, when you're attentive, when things seem to come a little bit easy for you, they're lucid. They can still be challenging, but they're not hard. And if it's really hard or too hard, then something's wrong. It's not supposed to be like that. So you need to take a look at that. But when you have consciousness, it's just the opposite of being totally unconscious, right? When you're totally unconscious, then you have no recollection, you have no movement, ability, etc., or very little. But when you have consciousness, you're in this state of lucidness, of clairvoyance. And so that's how you can use my forward performance pyramid model or my winning mental pyramid model, is to make sure that you're aligned in those areas, in those 4 areas of the model. And so that's what I work with my clients on. And when you have that consciousness, what you'll see is you'll experience eventually, as you're doing whatever you're doing, the zone effect. And the zone, again, is when everything seems to be in slow motion, time is not a deterrent, and it feels effortless. And when you're in the zone, you can be conscious. I have people ask me, like, well, when I'm in the zone, I don't think about it. And I tell them, they say, well, the minute or the second I think about it, then I'm out of the zone. I'm like, no, you should be able to still be in the zone. You're able to tell when you're in the zone consciously. Now, the key is you want to be able to stay in that zone for as long as you can. And there's obviously, that's a skill that's developed over time. And one of the things you need to realize is that once you experience the zone effect, you're not going to experience that exact same effect. It's a one-time thing. However, you'll be able to more easily get into the zone at other times. Now, the key is don't be discouraged if you're not able to feel that zone effect. Still keep doing what you're doing. And eventually, over time, with the right tools, with the right coaching, the right consulting, with the right support, by supporting yourself and by learning these tools and applying them, you'll start to experience that more and more. So that's what I have for you this week, is to really know that my winning mental pyramid and forward performance pyramid and those questions there, what is your focus best vision? That's your intrinsic relationship between your motivation and inspiration. And then additionally, do you teach the best attitude? Obviously a positive attitude. So what do you do to teach that? What are the tools to make sure that people have a positive attitude? Do you have a mindset? And is that mindset the one, what you think? Do you value what you think or the way you think? That's very important. And then the relationship between your mood and subconscious is how you feel, the bottom line, forward line, and your habits and achievable action. You need achievable action. And so that's what the forward performance pyramid is. And that's just one of the many tools that I use with my clients. And you can apply it and learn it. You've seen these videos now for the past, I'd say probably 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th week going over my model. And you can start to apply it and think about it. And of course, you can only go so far. It's like most things on your own before you need help and assistance or someone to work with you. And definitely I can do that. We can do more work together because there's a lot of ways and tools for your specific situation. But I wanted to give you an understanding so that you don't feel like you're just in this barren land and you have no way of putting yourself in the zone or how to experience the zone. And so this is something that you can work on and apply, and therefore you'll start to feel it more. Now, all of these factors here are just working with your mental performance skills, okay, and your life skills. This is not in substitute for the knowledge you need or the technique you need. However, by having this, you will definitely be able to ascertain or learn or develop or build and grow that base. And what you'll see is, again, the separation between the elites versus the professionals versus the college versus high school versus the novice is exactly this. It's your mental performance skills and your life skills. And so that's the challenge that I have for you is how are you applying what you learned these past few weeks to your performance in life? And are you consciously in the zone? And if you are, how often? And do you know and realize that the zone is one of those things that you don't want to, and you can't really repeat it. because the situation is going to always be the same, even though it looks like you're doing the same thing. And if you don't think that, then just think of it as, well, it's a different time period, right? Because time keeps going forward. So there are elements that you can reuse, but what you're really wanting to do is you're wanting to go towards achievable action. And when you do that, you'll start to experience those breakthroughs that I mentioned and feel the zone. And each time it'll be a little more unique. So that's what I have for you this week. If something resonates with you, you can contact me at 864-569-2315 or raj@rajgavrillo.com. And this week for the zone effect, what do I have? You know what I have? I have this. Yeah, I'm challenged like a lot of people sometimes with fatigue or with just mental toughness, sometimes even myself, because for whatever reason, we all have our challenges. And one of the things that I know is, like, people say like mental toughness, or they say the word grit or the word commitment, or they may say, you know, performance breakthroughs plan, which is what I deliver for my clients. They may say all of that, but here's the key. You ready? This is the key. Put the word feel in front of that. So feel mental toughness, feel grit, feel commitment, feel performance breakthroughs plan. And see, when you put the word feel in front of it, then you start to activate your mind in a different way. And so that's really mental toughness, right? That's really grit, is when you feel it. And so if your mind's negative, then you can say something like, mental pain feels good, because you know those negative thoughts aren't good and you know they're painful. But instead of, you can combat them by saying, you know, I feel mentally tough, or I feel mentally I'm going to go against this, or mentally feel me going against that thought. Or you can sometimes just say, mental pain feels good. It's counterintuitive. It's sort of like, I remember an Olympic gold medalist, I think his name was Eric Heidman, and I was reading a book, and he talks about when he's cycling to prepare to ice skate or speed skate, he'd cycle and the pain would be excruciating in his pain in his legs, but it was like the good kind of pain. You know, there's the bad pain, and then there's the good pain that makes it feel that you're really working your muscles, or helping your muscles, or strengthening your muscles. And so it's the same way. If you're experiencing negative thoughts or a negative thought, sometimes it's just good to just say, to say mental pain feels good. And what you'll see is that it will screw up your thinking, because the logic for that negative thought is being disrupted, right? And you can disrupt it either logically, or you can disrupt it with something that's crazy like what I'm saying. But either way, you're disrupting it, because what it's wanting you to think is, oh, that negative thought, and it just wanting you to bow to it, or to let it defeat you. But don't let it. Go with mental pain feels good, or feel mental toughness, or I feel grit, but use the word feel in there. So that's what I have for you this week. That's what the zone effect is, and I've been using that quite often yesterday and today, and I can tell that my mind is sort of reorienting, saying, you know, what's going on here? And it feels good because I can actually feel it. And just because I've had some challenges the past couple of days that, you know, everyone has every once in a while, but that's how you get through a lot of that. And that's how you fight back, or you win against it. Actually, I would say you win or you compete against it, is to mentally feel grit, or mentally feel yourself go against it, because you know it's not you, and you know that it's an intrusive thought. So that's what I have for you. And At 4 o'clock, I'll be back live doing experiencing innovation and entrepreneurial leadership.